What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 159 of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that's about Sonic news, and Sonic movie news. My name is Ethan, and with me here to predict and demand the future is Devin.
There's food, fast food, and too fast to be food.
That's a Sonic quote. I'm going to guess it's from a TV show, a cartoon. And I'm going to go ahead
from
and
Adventures
guess...
of Sonic. It's from
okay.
Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog again.
I was going to guess Sonic X, but that works.
I have a whole bunch here, so I might just be going through these for a little while.
Okay.
Because I think they're pretty good. There's some good
a cartoon's a cartoon.
that have no context.
Like
read them all. I could
watch the episode to find the quote, and then you'll have the context. Hey, Devin. We're fucked, right? As Sonic fans.
How so? I mean, yeah, but like how so?
We're fucked.
In terms of not our normal being fucked as Sonic fans.
As Sonic movie fans, we are fucked. Last year, the Sonic movie came out. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out in theaters and worldwide, and we loved it. It was great. Clearly, like an awesome movie. Dare I say the best movie of 2022? I might even
easily. Right.
And then like the Game Awards come around and they have that category best adaptation. And some pink and blue-haired women on Netflix took it from us.
Oh my!
League of Legends Arcane took it from us. I never watched the show. The hairstyles are cool. I never watched the show, right? They stole it from us. You know why we're fucked, Devin? Because the Knuckles show is going to lose to the Last of Us show. That's why we're fucked.
Oh, no.
Because I watched that first episode. You watched that first episode.
We hate the last.
All it needed is the one, and it's going to win over Knuckles.
It already has it locked up. Yeah.
I hate it.
It sucks that it's so good.
They couldn't release this last year in December. There's only 9 episodes. Start in November, end before 2023, so Knuckles can win a Game Award. That's all we need.
It's not. We're just hoping for Sonic 3. That's our Super Bowl run. All right, we're building the foundation. We're building the team up.
By the time Sonic 3 comes out, Arcane 2 is going to be out.
We're bringing our A game for Sonic 3.
We have to.
That's what Paramount's thinking right now.
We have to. Speaking of Paramount, on Paramount Plus this year, supposedly, when the Knuckles TV show is going to begin sometime this year, as of the time of this recording, there is no trailer, no information besides the initial announcement, and just our desires to see it happen. So, hey, maybe we'll get lucky, and before I hit fucking post on this video, we'll get a trailer.
I know. That's what I'm because usually I feel like Fridays when they drop trailers and shit for movies and TV shows. So knowing our
Saturdays now.
Yeah, we really should. I feel like it'll be the day we're posting this, and it's gonna be like breaking news. Jim Carrey is back in the TV show too, and it's coming out right now.
That would be a big thing. I guess I wouldn't have expected him to be in the TV show if that had happened.
Won't be, I don't think. I mean, obviously, he might not even be in the third one because of his. It seems that he might be retiring.
He better.
And they
I can't
killed
remember
him
the
off.
stats. And I understand maybe the money and like the box office stats isn't what drives him, but like I got to assume, correlating to those stats, that his role is the most popular he's ever had with children. You know what I mean? That's just an assumption I have. I don't really, obviously,
wasn't it one of his like top grossing movies that he's been in? Like,
it's the top grossing movie.
Or it's the top
grossing movie. That's what I'm saying. If he doesn't,
I'm saying he might retire on top though. Like he's like, I did it. I did my top grossing film. You don't want to
continue the role? Children love you, Jim Carrey. We're not talking about Jim Carrey unless we're talking about him in relation to the Knuckles show. Because I have a question for you, Devin. What do you want to see in the Knuckles TV show? And what do you expect to see in the Knuckles TV show? Because those could be...
I was going to say,
two different things.
If you've watched this show for quite a while, we've done like episodes of like what we want from a Sonic movie, what we want from a Mario movie, what we want from a Sonic movie too. But yeah, for this show, I mean, I guess like if we're assuming anything's possible, I want this to be visually as good as the movies. Because I don't think it's really going to be as good as the movies. I think we're going to see it be watered down a little bit. Not in a bad way. I think you can do it in a way where it's still digestible and is good enough for Paramount Plus. It's not HBO level, but let's say we get to HBO level. You're talking about The Last of Us and the quality that they put into their TV shows.
Man, that was a movie. That was a
It
movie.
was.
That first episode was just a movie. It was an hour and a half, 82 minutes. It's not quite an hour and a half. But it was
But it
essentially
felt
as
like
I'm
it,
getting
yeah.
attacked by a contact. It was essentially a
Um,
movie.
but yeah, so I feel like for me, like the first thing I'm looking for is the visual quality. I want Knuckles to look good. If there's friends in it or new characters, whatever other animated characters, they gotta look good. And where I'm hoping this goes is we're following the Knuckles journey throughout. Sonic isn't involved. I want this to be a focus strictly on Knuckles and his quest for the Chaos Emeralds. I actually think this might be what we'll get in the TV show. I wouldn't be surprised if the TV show is actually a prequel to the Sonic movie,
I
too.
would. That was an idea that could happen. Him as a baby Nux.
But regardless, I want it to be each episode he goes to a new planet or area, kind of like The Mandalorian. The reason Mandalorian was successful, I think, or one of the reasons it was successful was the fact that it felt like a new adventure each episode.
Right.
Except for maybe the last couple episodes. But at that point, you're already sold, you're already invested. But what was really cool about that was like, okay, now the Mandalorian's here. Oh, now he needs to help this person to get off this planet because his ship crashed. Let's have that with Knuckles. I don't know how his I forget how his teleportation or his universe jumping, because he basically has the ring, right?
Yeah.
So how does he get the rings? Show me that. Okay, what happens when he loses rings? Does he have to go buy more rings? Does he have to find more rings? How does that work? Maybe that's the whole thing, is that he knows generally where the Chaos Emerald is, because I feel like he has some way to track it, or some, I guess, sixth sense to know where it is. At least that's my interpretation in the movie, is that he knows where it is. Well, no, he does know where it is on Earth, right? Or he knows it's on Earth. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a minute.
He doesn't know where, but he knows that it is.
So whatever. Tell me more about that. I want to flesh out more of like what his whole thing is and why is he in the Sonic movie 2 in the first place. We're okay with it because we all like Knuckles. The kids like Knuckles, so they don't need to explain it that much. Besides, Eggman and him talk, and Eggman uses him to find the Chaos Emeralds. So for me, I just want to know more about his backstory besides the little bit they gave us in the movie. I want it to be fleshed out more. And I do think that the show could possibly go in that direction, but part of me thinks it might be more of a it's going to be more of like the adventures of Knuckles on Earth. It's just going to be like random things maybe him and Sonic run into. Maybe Sonic is in it, but it's like here and there. It isn't every episode.
Yeah, that's still possible. Sonic could be in it. I guess we just assumed based off TV scope, size, it would just be Knuckles, but I don't see why Sonic couldn't also be in there.
But yeah, I basically want... Yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, you finish up first.
I was just going to say, I hope Knuckles, in terms of like the universe or planet jumping, whatever you want to call it, the ring jumping, ring rifting, is that it's like a new, like, cool visual that they do every time. There's a new theme to it. Like there's we have the mushroom planet, right? I want there to be a planet that's just a big city or something, or like a Blade Runner kind of city. Like I want it to be like people are evil and
what a shocking twist.
I know
people are evil.
I just meant like people are like around him are gonna rob him and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nepotism, or maybe there's another planet with echidnas that he finds or something. I don't know. So
I feel like that would be a later down the road thing of like, oh, he's not the last echidna. There are others, but like have that be a big story thing. I think differently. My prediction is this. It all takes place on Earth because if it is following Sonic 2, and let me dial back and explain my reasoning here. Of why it is only on Earth. Sonic 3 presumably is starring Sonic, and it's a versus Shadow the Hedgehog thing, right? If they do that, I would imagine they'd follow up on the fact that at the end of Sonic 2, the Master Emerald broke down and Sonic scooped up those Chaos Emeralds, the little tiny ones inside. That's how he became Supersonic. And when he was done, they literally flew away. At least, and I know, I understand the games are different than the movie, like, obviously. Um, he doesn't wear Adidas in the games. He wears soaps in the games. When the Chaos Emeralds spread, they're just still on Earth still.
I thought
They
they
don't.
had it at the end. I thought it turned back to a regular emerald, and then they had it in the
No,
cooler or something
Knuckles
at the baseball.
scooped up the Master Emerald shards and turned it back into a thing. But when Sonic goes back to normal, the Chaos Emeralds literally go up and away. So they are not going back down to where the shards
I don't
are.
remember. Regardless.
But anyway,
keep going.
Assuming that, like what I'm saying is what I saw, and they scatter around the Earth, I would imagine a shadow villain movie would be somewhat similar to Sonic Adventure 2's introduction of him in terms of him having one of them, he uses it, etc., right? So then if some of that movie is about finding the Chaos Emeralds, we talked in a previous episode before Sonic 2 even came out, saying like, is the Emerald the green Chaos Emerald or the Master Emerald? And we were like, we think it's probably going to be the Master Emerald because doing a movie where they hunt down 7 different identical things might be too repetitive and might feel short because your segments have to be small to compensate. So if we end up going back to that idea anyway, some of them I feel like have to already be found, and that's where I think the Knuckles show comes in. It's him finding some of them. He finds 3 or 4 of them, so then you only have the remaining 3 or 4 in the movie to have like Shadow has one, Eggman has one, Sonic has one, Knuckles has the others, safe somewhere. Maybe he's not in the movie all that much, although that would be a bit of a disappointment. But you start adding all of these characters, you can't have them all together all the time. You need to have them grow a little bit apart, right? So if my assumption on all this is somewhat accurate, the Knuckles show would be hunting down a few of these Chaos Emeralds, therefore it would be on Earth. And I go back and forth on which I think would be easier to make, like, cost wise, a CG planetscape for a CG character to walk around in, or real life sets for a CG character to walk around in. I would assume the real life sets.
They could get it. I feel like they can get away with.
I don't know.
But I feel like they can get away with, like, if the animation isn't maybe as good as the 2 movies were, that if he's on another planet that's really cartoony, it won't fucking matter. That if he's not the best looking, and they can just do everything in, everything in animation. You know what I mean? They don't have to worry about people.
It's true. And like, if let's say
casting
the show
too.
Let's say the show had, the exact quality of all the effects and everything, right? The animation, the CG animation is all exactly the way it is in the movie. We've limited the scope on where we're going to rooms. And you that's how you get entire episodes that are in one room, because you don't have the budget to have hundreds of people, make an adventure on a TV show if it looks like the movie, right? At least I would imagine that budget is not being spent. Whatever that would be is not being spent on this show because they're spending it on a movie, right? If this was the direction of the series from now on, where it is just a show, then sure, I can see that. Excuse me, but it's not, right? Now, if we're staying on Earth, I mean, like, whenever the Chaos Emeralds split across, that's how you get the different Sonic zones. You get your ice place, you get your desert place, etc. So maybe they do have, certain ruins that that Knuckles can go to. He's got to be able to use his main abilities of climbing and gliding. So there's got to be some sort of structures to do that off of. But I do have a prediction on how the show itself is going to start. Assuming that there is either no flashback, or I'm assuming that we're skipping the flashback, and right where it's Knuckles and whatever present
it starts with him
is,
dying, and then it does a fade
got
out.
The spear sticking out of his.
And it's like, how did he get there? What?
Exactly.
The world's on fire, and then he wakes up because he's having a premonition of his death.
Well, I do. I predict. I predict that the show will open with a flashback of him as a child getting some sort of baby Wonder Woman lesson being told to him from his father, and then we go to modern day Wonder Woman Knuckles. Yeah. That's what I think, because that's got to be important to his story as a character.
You're not strong enough
He's
yet.
The last one. He has to, to prove his honor to his father, his people, right? That like
you will lead our clan
we're talking
one
about
day.
events. You got to remember, a story has to be about characters and people and what do they do, not the things that they do, but what do they do. I did that on purpose. So he needs to have an actual story to why he's even doing this. Otherwise, it's just, like whenever you see people like on like the internet talk about what they want to see from a Marvel movie or like Star Wars, they just list cameos and events, and they don't list like character arcs and like it's just I want
Luke
things
Skywalker
to happen.
meets his grandson for the first time,
and they have
and his name is
fight.
Anakin.
Yeah, and he looks like me.
Yeah,
the writer of this post. So Knuckles needs to have like an actual story to why they even want to make a show.
That's why I say like it's gonna be him seeking the emeralds or emeralds,
proving himself,
plural or whatever.
Now,
but
that's the flashback or modern day, right? Knuckles is semi-known, mainly because Sonic Adventure
gliding.
2. Yes, but he's semi-known, and mainly he is semi-known because of Sonic Adventure 2 for hip-hop, because of the music.
I was gonna say like he's going to Pumpkin Hill.
Yes, well maybe. Here's how we open up in modern day with Knuckles. Now recently, I don't know if you've ever heard of these people. They are named De La Soul. I don't think you've ever heard of them, Devin. You don't know anything about them. They're recently now like on Spotify and stuff like that for whatever legal thing. You get that as a backing track when Knuckles is walking around town. He doesn't know what to do, and then we begin the actual adventure proper. Something happens. Tails says, "Oh, I need something like this, whatever. Go find the emeralds," and then Knuckles is going off. I don't know.
Well, I was gonna say I'm changing my what I want now because I was saying what I want earlier with a mix of like what I was predicting. But what I want now, based off what we were just talking about, and I think of Pumpkin Hill, I want this show to come out in October, and its main focus is Pumpkin Hill.
Oh,
so it's a Halloween special, but it's 8 episodes. It's fun for the kids, so it's not that scary.
8 Halloween specials.
Basically, wow. Maybe there's a storyline. Maybe he has to save Pumpkin Hill. He needs to save Halloween.
Because here's the thing.
It has nothing to do with the emeralds. Fuck it. Let's. Who cares about the emeralds? Who cares? Say that for the 3rd movie. Let's just have him go. He goes home or something.
That's true. It could just be completely its own thing.
Maybe if we're doing a prequel, it doesn't have to be necessarily like a build-up of his character. It could just be like he's just on this planet, generally looking for the Master Emeralds, but for him to find a map or find out where the Master Emerald is, he has to help this town save Halloween.
That would be lovely. And and in this process, he learns about himself, and he learns that he doesn't need to have, because what's going to happen, right? He's Elasticidna. Literally, the weight of expectations of an entire generation of his people are on his, he's got all this pressure on him. He's got to learn to let loose a little bit and celebrate himself and
celebrate
Saint Pumpkin
traditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Halloween tradition.
Yeah, exactly. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
And I've asked this before. We've discussed this. I think mainly under the guise of Sonic Movie 3 predictions, but let's take this and do it with the Knuckles show. Do you think that there will be any other Sonic characters that have not been in the 2 movies introduced in the show? Minor, major, anyone?
Sorry, that sneeze.
Who is that character? No.
I mean, it's gonna be my girl, Rouge the Bat. Why not? This is a perfect place to introduce her.
Yeah. I mean,
because when you reference her, maybe Knuckles gets her in the Sonic movie, the 3rd one. Yeah. That like they could find a way to be like, oh, I know someone who can help us out with this, and then he comes back with her. And for the people who maybe didn't see the show, they'll still kind of know who she is, and they'll write in how to put that in. But if you watch the Knuckles show, you'll be rewarded more. And the Rouge fans like me, we could eat
Rouge heads.
Rouge heads.
Yeah. I would think this is. I mean, you're going in one goofy direction. I'm going to go in another. Because like people be like, oh, Amy, oh, this like no. We're gonna introduce Big the Cat. Knuckles is going to. I'm changing my want now. He is leaving Earth. He's going to a nice, idyllic clearing in a forest, and in this clearing is a beautiful pond, and there fishing is a giant purple cat
with lo-fi music playing in the background.
Yep. And it's not bad lo-fi. But it's the sound effects of repeatedly pressing A kind of ruin the music.
And you're kind of getting sick of it after the 50th time.
I don't know how many more I need for the trophies, but hey, I platinum that game, and I'm gonna do it again on PS4, I guess, this year before the Knuckles show.
It comes out tomorrow.
Quick. Fuck. How many time? I'll quit my job. I just won't get paid, but I will be happy until I need to eat.
Yeah, you'll be a Sonic hero.
No, but I think. I don't think, but I think it would be funny if Big the Cat was in the Knuckles show as just the minorest of minor characters, just to have someone new. Like, we don't okay, for the sake of a movie, for Sonic 2, they introduced Knuckles, important character, eats up a lot of time, big impacts on the story, all that stuff. Sonic 3, clearly, Shadow, maybe more, maybe not. We don't know. But Shadow's going to be as equal in terms of screen time as Knuckles was in the second movie, right? And we just assume that would have to be the case unless they're doing some weird, avant-garde thing, and it's your, and it's all in your head.
They never show him until the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. And he's just like Jaws. He holds it up to the screen.
It's like Jaws. Or there's always he's like sitting in like a alleyway, and there's always a shadow. Because he's a shadow, you only see the shadow of him.
Or he's always off screen, and people are talking to him, but you just see him, right?
You just see his foot. It's doing like the anime low shot, where it's just like his foot, and the characters are talking towards basically you, the viewer, but they're talking to Shadow.
Yeah.
That'd be really funny.
In the
I don't want that
left corner of the school classroom near the windows, because it's easier to animate because no one else is around him.
And he's wearing a hoodie, so they don't even have to No, I think it'd be really funny. There's no way, but it'd be really cool to see an avant-garde Sonic 3 movie.
What was I saying? So assuming it's not literally what we just said, and he takes up a lot of screen time. If they ever introduce any other characters in a movie like that, they need to be important. I don't see them going too crazy on introducing minor characters like Cream the Rabbit or Espio the Chameleon to just have around for the sake of the movie. But a show is where you can introduce a minor character and have them be somewhat significant while also not having them hold the stakes of the plot too much. You know what I mean? A show is where you can introduce a Big the Cat. I would even gather to say a Rouge the Bat. She's a, not major character. She's minor, but she's above a lot of others. Okay, fine.
For some of us, yeah.
That's fair. Maybe they'll introduce Sephiroth, and I'll be happy. Is that how it works here?
Yeah.
Cloud shows up.
I mean, we could always tie it into our video game movie universe that we pitched several episodes ago.
Where I thought we were talking about video games and not movies. I remember that. I was so embarrassed halfway through. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's talking about just the movies, and I wanted to pitch a video game. I'm not prepared at all. More prepared today.
That's a good episode. I don't remember what number it is, but y'all should go listen to that one.
I think we call it our video game MCU, or video game MCU is in the title.
Yeah, so. Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right, because that was the framework. And whatever. I had fun on that episode anyway. That was probably less than a year ago, but
feels like a year ago at this rate.
It feels like 20 years ago that we started this podcast, and we haven't even reached 200 yet.
Yeah. We are both 55 now.
Yeah. Knuckles show. Any other things that you can think of as a want? I know my predictions on how it began are not wants. They're what I really think are going to happen. Maybe the De La Soul is a little bit too, pushing it. as a goofy thing, but like still, that's what my assumptions of it's gonna be. Um, Wants though, do you have any other wants that are somewhat realistic? And I understand Rouge the Bat is somewhat realistic. I'm not throwing that completely out.
They could
It
do a
is
whole
somewhat
espionage
realistic.
that he works for the government, and Rouge the Bat is a CIA agent. She's
Yeah.
the feds. So there's that conflict there because Knuckles is known to hate the police.
Yep.
No, I think for me, like another want that is possible is I want there to be fun action. I think one thing that was really good about the Sonic movie compared to the first one was they upped the ante with the action and making it feel fun and also I guess realistic. I don't want to use that word, but like it
Right.
felt tonally in the film, it felt right. It wasn't too cartoony, but it wasn't too like grounded where like Knuckles can only punch. Like they were both kind of flying around, bouncing off each other. It was a little anime, like, but they also weren't like they didn't fly both into the sky and like do some crazy laser
where,
battle.
like, Sonic is thrown hundreds of yards and he bam, 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 and is still okay, like Goku. You're right.
Yeah, there was like it was slightly grounded, but it still was.
There was tension to what they were doing.
Yeah, and it felt like that when they did beat each other up, it did cost something. It wasn't like, okay, we're done fighting now. We're both a-okay. Like Sonic gets beat up, I think, at one point. And Knuckles almost dies when the ruins collapse there in the water.
Right.
Or Sonic
right.
Sonic almost dies
drowning.
and Knuckles saves him.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I'm just misremembering everything in this movie.
It's been a while since we saw this movie.
Almost a year.
That means pretty soon we have to do our Sonic Movie 1 rewatch soon. And then we'll do our Sonic Movie 2 rewatch. That's right. Don't let us forget that, audience. Don't let us forget.
But yes, I hope there's like a lot more action like that. Maybe not necessarily every episode, but I think this will keep me as an adult interested in it. Because I feel like the route that they're probably going to take is going to be less family friendly and more for the kids. This is my hunch. I could be wrong. I mean, I think Sonic Prime, I didn't watch Sonic Prime, but from what I have seen and heard is that it's a little bit more family friendly for the more adult Sonic fans. But what makes the Sonic movies great is that it's family friendly. There's still some adult jokes in there, or there's some adult drama that we can relate to in some degree. That maybe kids won't hit with kids, but it's good enough to get the job done.
Right.
So I hope it's funny as well. I guess to add to that is that the action's good and it's funny. And I just hope it just fits overall with what they've built on with the two movies. That it doesn't feel too disconnected from that. But I guess that will go against what I was asking earlier, which is I want him to go to different planets
Goofy
and
space
stuff.
travel.
Goofy space travel. But so I don't know. We'll see. I believe everyone who's worked on the movies is working on this. Maybe not to the entire teams.
The important, I'm sure it's smaller roles, right?
But the important roles. And Idris Elba is coming back as Knuckles.
I mean, that's we just assumed that.
I mean, that's what they reported. Just for some reason, they could have potentially been like, hey, we got this guy instead. It's for a side TV show that not everyone's going to see, so we can get away with it.
Well, I think what would really happen is he would quote them a price, and they would say no, and then they would get someone else. My only want, besides what I had mentioned prior to this moment, is I want a bunch of fucking James Marsden. I know, I get it.
You want some
I want him in it. I want him in every episode. He doesn't need it. Like, because I don't necessarily think this would really happen, but they could do something where, just like have a movie has an A plot and a B plot, the show could as well. And we go from Knuckles to maybe just minor stuff of Sonic and Tails to still let you know that there's still things going on with them. And it's not like Sonic's just hanging at home, eating, Doritos, watching TV while
Smoking
Knuckles is
weed.
climbing a snowy rock wall.
No, I want it to be like
chaos
every new movie and whatnot is that Sonic is growing up. So he starts to dabble in drugs. I want a scene where he smokes a doobie or something.
Then he becomes
in the garage.
our what we want in a Pac-Man movie thing. Remember? Or he's the Pac-Man. Yeah.
Wow. Starring Shia LaBeouf, yes.
In a yellow shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call me the Pac-Man.
And when he takes his super drug, all of his enemies in his mind are wearing flashing blue
I smoke
and
a
white
pack
shirts.
a day. That's why they call me the Pac-Man.
Yeah. Oh my god. Stupid ass. Okay. I think that's going to call it for this episode. This was a fun, nice, short Knuckles prediction episode. Before we do the rollout here, the Transformers rollout, I want to mention that next episode of the Sonic Movie Show, we are going to be watching the titular video game film Resident Evil Degeneration. Resident Evil Degeneration. We will let you know how we think about that movie on that episode. So episode 159 is about Resident Evil Degeneration. It's animated. You can find it somewhere, I'm sure. I think it's streaming. If not,
I hope so, or else I picked a really bad...
They're going to be on Amazon.
I picked a really bad movie as my first pick if we can't find it anywhere.
Yeah. That's what we're going to
lose
do.
by default.
Go ahead and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. I almost said Twitch. Twitter, Instagram, at Sonic Movie Show, all the way up there. I am on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely. Devin's on Twitter at Cursona Fun. Let us know your predictions on the Knuckles TV show. Are we off base here? What do you think is actually reasonable? What are your actual
were we too goofy this episode? Probably.
Yeah.
But
send photos of your Rouge the Bat King ice. I don't think it exists. Yeah. But you want
I need it. If it comes out, I hope someone buys it for me for Christmas.
I would honestly say I would dig the Shadow one. I know I said Tails before, but like that's me trying to look cool. I actually want the Shadow one.
You want a Shadow?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, by the way, for YouTube, we did hit 100 subscribers over the weekend. So appreciate everyone who's watching us on YouTube. I guess that's like our main platform because we do a video version. In case you've always listened to this episode, or maybe you dipped for a while and you came back, or maybe this is your first episode and you're listening to this on your way to work or something. But you're like, what do these nerds look like? You can go on YouTube and find out. So yeah, go on YouTube and hit the subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate it.
Devin's weird wallpaper thing behind him looks kind of similar to the background going on right now in the episode.
You made one that was inspired, or
no? It's just some
coincidence.
Kind of coincidence. Not really. All right, we're gonna leave. Goodbye. We'll see you next week for Resident Evil. Hasta la pasta. Have a fantastic day.